Hello, we're live here. So I'm just gonna post this on Twitter. I'll wait for some people to come by. We're gonna be talking about GTII and as well as CURALEAF. So stay tuned. Hit the thumbs up, appreciate it. And more people can see this video. Just linking this on Twitter. Hello. So yeah, GTII and CURALEAF, they did their financials. So I'm just gonna go through them when maybe a few more people come by. All right. Anyways, I'll just start going off about this. So CURALEAF, they did 250.6 million for fiscal 2019, and they did recorded adjusted EBITDA, which is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation, and assets, of 25.9 million. So pretty good. I mean, considering a lot of companies are doing negative EBITDA, Canopy, Aurora, Tilray doing lots, like in the hundreds of millions of negative EBITDA. So if you compare it in the industry, it's not that bad. So that's what's up. And they delivered record quarterly managed revenue of 81.7 million and recorded adjusted EBITDA of 13.8 million as operations continue to ramp. So that's pretty cool. 81.7 million. So that's pretty solid for CURALEAF. That's more than TrueLeaf did. The only company in USA that did more than that reports in US dollars is GW Pharma. And they reported record quarterly pro forma revenue. So they have companies that they, such as Select, that they haven't closed the deal with. So if you add the revenues from that for the quarter, that would be 131.7 million. So pretty good. If you do that like on an annualized basis, that's over 500 million for the year. But they're talking about doing 800, 900 million or so in 2020. So they're going to really have to bump those numbers up, get them up to 200, 300 million a quarter if they intend to do that. So they need to ramp their revenues. So the managed revenue was 81.6, but it says total revenue was 75.5 million. So I'm not sure what the managed revenue is, but if you look at the net income loss, they did 26.6 million. So net income loss was 6 cents per share. So not that great. They lost 26.6 million in dollars. So I'm not impressed with that. For the year, 221 million. So they also closed a 300 million senior secured term loan facility. So they seem to be pretty cashed up. So I do like that about CURALEAF. I'm not going to read this whole thing because I got to go to the GTII as well. and I wouldn't mind talking about UVXY and some other stuff. So yeah, 136% year over year to a record 75.5 million compared to 32 million in the fourth quarter of 2018. Total revenue for the fourth quarter of 2019 increased 22% over the prior quarter. So retail and wholesale revenue increased by 143% to a record 57.7 million during the quarter compared to 23.7 a year ago. And the increase in retail and wholesale revenue was primarily due to organic growth in Florida, resulting from the opening of 8 dispensaries and the acquisition of 3 dispensaries in Arizona. Additionally, wholesale revenue increased in Massachusetts as a result of the number of adult use dispensaries increasing. Gross profit before impact of biological assets for the fourth quarter was 39.8 million. So compared to 20 million. So, I mean, they're doing over 50%, right? So that's not bad. 50% profit margin. So I like that about CURALEAF. So, I mean, we'll see. That's CURALEAF. So that's what's up on CURALEAF. I like that. Not great. Good revenues, but the net loss I'm not that impressed with, but they are growing their business, so that's expected. So, I mean, it's hard to say, what I'd give them for a report card score, but it'd probably be somewhere around a B minus to C plus. I mean, some people would think, oh, well, it's an A. The market, the big institutions, they want to own CURALEAF because they're one of the top 3, 4 in USA as far as the power goes. So that's what's up as far as CURALEAF goes. But as far as being sustainable, I mean, they got all that some cash, but I don't like the fact that losing 26 million a quarter over a year, you're losing 100 million over. So I mean, they do need to get tighter with their SG&A and all that stuff. So I gotta dock them points for sure. So anyways, let's get into GTII. So GTII, they announced revenue for fourth quarter revenue of 75.8 million and fourth quarter adjusted operating EBITDA of 14.4 million. So pretty similar to CURALEAF, and delivered on new store opening guidance for the year and full year revenue of 216.4 million. So very, very similar to CURALEAF, very similar as far as the EBITDA goes, as far as the revenues go for the quarter as well as the yearly. So GTII and CURALEAF are definitely in their competition as far as being power moguls in the USA. Revenue for the fourth quarter increased 260% year over year and 11.5% quarter over quarter to 75.8 million. Total revenue for 2019 increased 246.3% year over year to 216.4 million. Quarterly revenue results were driven by organic growth across the company's consumer products and retail businesses. Gross margin for the fourth quarter 2019 was 53.6, and net loss for the fourth quarter was 18.3 million. So better than CURALEAF as far as the net loss, and I think there was better for the EBITDA. So I like what they're doing. At fiscal year end, current assets totaled 109.5 million and included cash and cash equivalents of 46.7 million. So when CURA, they got like 400 million shares out or even more, and they're trading at like $6. I mean, yeah, it's pretty expensive of a stock. If that's what their assets are with their cash, I mean, yeah, they're gonna have more cash. And then they did capital markets financing with that IPR of 39.6 million of non-dilutive capital, and they completed a sale leaseback in Ohio, and these 2 transactions provide the company with 57.2 million of non-dilutive capital. So not bad. Yeah, I mean, their cash position is not super strong, such as CURALEAF. CURALEAF's got a much stronger, cash position And as far as, just their position as being moguls in the industry, I think Cura's kind of ahead of GTII. But GTII, if GTII had the same amount of cash, they could definitely be on the same kind of ranking, powers in that sense. So that's what I think. And I'm just going to go to the ranking, and it'll say the adjusting operational income. So it says 75.8 million for GTII, so they're ahead of CURALEAF, and CURALEAF is 75.5 million, and GTII says minus 5 million in adjusted operational income, and CURALEAF says minus 12.8 million in adjusted operational income. So definitely it seems that GTII is the winner for this quarter. So I mean, I think for GTII, they probably deserve about a B minus ish, like B. So that's kind of my feelings on GTII and CURALEAF, but that's just my feelings on things. And then we're going to be talking about, UVXY. So UVXY is basically, it's flattening. So UVXY is the volatility index, and it spiked back on the 18th to about, on UVXY, it spiked to about, I think, 100, and it's close to 100. Now it's down to 59.8, and after hours it's 57.65. So it definitely seems like it's flattening out. Maybe it's going to go up and it's going to go down a bit, but I think the initial big spike on the volatility, because I think people are getting used to this volatility, so they're just kind of more used to it, and it'll just be flatter. So I kind of feel that it's just the VIX, the volatility index, is kind of just going away. It's not going to be in play unless you want to short the VIX. I don't know how to short the VIX. I can't short. Well, I guess I could short the VIX, but I don't want to short the VIX, and I don't know if there's options on the VIX. But if you bought the bottom, you would have made a ton of money on UVXY. So, in a future big drop down on such as like what happened in 2008 or 2016 or now, that if you were to find the bottom, like when it started to rise up, and then ride it to get the meat off that, you would have done very well. So it's definitely an undervalued ETF that people need to be aware of. And then there's the TVIX. And, if I would have known better about the understanding about how this kind of correlates in the market in the next time where we have a big downfall, I'd definitely be playing the UVXY and the TVIX, and I would have made very good money. So it's just a tool in the toolbox. It's not really in play, in my opinion, right now. But, that's something, the more you play in the markets, the more kind of tricks and tools you kind of gain. So I'm just sharing my opinion on those things. So, yeah, what's up with commodities? Crude oil is kind of staying flat at 23.09, and I kind of use them as an indicator, but they weren't really playing with the markets today. A lot of stocks went up a lot, but they didn't so much. So crude wasn't having a great day, but now it's coming up, and we could see a very big, massive run in crude oil. So Suncor could definitely be in play. SU is the ticker, and that's the same ticker in Canada as well as USA. Excuse me. So, I mean, it spiked to about $20 just recently. It hit a bottom of about, I want to say about $15. in Canadian dollars, close to about, you know, $11, $12 in USD. And this stock was as high as about 45, 40 for a long time this year. So it's definitely could go a lot higher if oil goes back up to 40 to 50, $60. So yeah, people could make a lot of money on the way up, but oil does need to start getting bullish. And so far it hasn't made a momentum, you know, it's just staying flat. But one of these days we could definitely see it run up to, you know, 26, 27, 28. And then as soon as it breaks through the 20s and it gets to 30s, that'll be very nice. It may retrace that, but another stock that's connected with oil is ExxonMobil, which is XOM. So that's a good one to watch as well. So that's kind of ideas in the market. I'm not going to play those yet. I just don't. I'm not super bullish yet on oil, but I played ExxonMobil the other day, and I bought a call for 80 cents for 2 contracts. So I spent about $170, and then I turned it into 415 US dollars. So I just, you know, as soon as it spikes up, then I got out of it like the next day. I mean, it's worth more today, I think, or the other day, but I want to take my profits because if it would have came down, I would have lost money potentially. So it could have gone down. So, you know, just take the money and run as far as options go. Um, Calls or puts. That's how I kind of roll. There's other people, they sell calls and all that, but I can't sell naked calls. I'd have to own the stock. So nickel's pretty flat, and but Nilsy really had a good day, and some other ones like platinum and palladium. So with platinum, it's trading at $737, and it went up to about $1,100 this year. And you know, it's been as higher than gold, right? I know everybody's talking about gold, but gold's at close to like 1650, and there's a potential that this could be worth more than gold. So palladium's worth more than gold. Palladium's at 2233. So I'm not pursuing this, but it's hard to acquire the metal or whatever. So Sprott ETF, they have an ETF that carries the metal. So that's kind of cool for Sprott. It's called SPPP, and it's kind of a cool idea, and it's in US funds. So it's Sprott Physical Platinum and Palladium ETF. So I like that idea, and you know, I've looked at it, but now that palladium's gone up a lot, but back a week ago would have been a very good play in the market. Let's look at SIN stocks. So a company that I did get a position in is Anheuser-Busch, which is Bud, and the ticker is BUD. And you know, I think that SIN stocks are kind of in play because they got everybody on lockdown right now, right? Just stuck in their house. Maybe they can go out here and there. There's a curfew at like 8 o'clock, stores closing early. And people are drinking more, I think, because they got nothing better to do, right? You sit in front of the TV and drinking. So, you know, Anheuser-Busch lost a lot of money when they first, when all this news came about. Their financials, they were saying for January and February that they were losing 300 million, but this company makes in the billions. They make like 30, 50 billion a year in alcohol sales with Budweiser. But yeah, I mean, so I like Budweiser beers, and they have other brands as well. And I think you know, it got rocked down. It's been as high as about $100 back around September, and it went as low as 32.58, and now it's just coming off from the bottom. And you know, I think it has definitely potential before September to go to like 70, 80, $90. So even if it only goes to $65, $70, I'll do very good on that. So with my call option. But I mean, even playing the stock, I mean, people got to let go of the ego that, oh, I got to own 10,000 shares of a company and I only have $100. So I got to buy a stock at, like 5 cents or something like that, just, you don't have to have that mentality. You can, if you have $500, you can still get 10 shares of a company, and maybe it goes up 50% and you put your $500 and it goes up 50%, and then you take that profit and you turn $500 into $750, right? So it doesn't have to be that, oh, I need to own 10,000 shares of a stock in the penny range, like sub 10 cents or whatever, or I got to own 1,000,000 shares at like 0.004. That's not very, that's not how the markets work, really. You want to kind of have a stock that's a good company, and that's how things make money. So I mean, this company makes earnings, right? They don't lose money, but they have lots of debt, but they're an S&P 500 company, and they're like the biggest alcohol company. So I think that cannabis will be bigger potentially than alcohol, but for now, alcohol is definitely way bigger than cannabis. So, alcohol is $1 trillion industry a year in sales. So this is one of the biggest and baddest for sure. I mean, you got Heineken, but they're on the OTC, which is a ticker HEINY. And then there's other ones, but really this is a great one. And there's Anheuser-Busch. There's Coors, but I don't really like Coors. They have a little more problems in my opinion. So I like Bud, and people think about the company a lot. They like drinking Budweiser. So the only other one that I can think of is Constellation Brands, that's connected with Canopy-Growth, and we'll be talking about Canopy-Growth in a few seconds too. So Constellation Brands, STZ ticker, and yeah, I mean, they're gonna eventually own Canopy-Growth, and they are trading at $140. So this stock's been as high as 200, 205. Yeah, 205, 210. So I mean, but it went as low as $119, and now it's up to $140. So that's pretty good, about a 10% gain, or no, about 15 to 20% gain on that. So that's pretty good. And I think it's has potential to move up further, but I like Bud more, in my opinion. So I like Anheuser-Busch. BUD is a good company. So that's what I think. Now, if we're talking about Canopy-Growth, CGC, or Weed, WEED, I think that now they're launching their beverages. They got the Houndstooth products that are coming out in BC. I mean, they're already online store, but in the dispensaries where I'm at, they're not available. But they're going to be selling for $4 a can for 2 milligrams of THC. So they'll be very weak. But then they got other ones that are be like $8, $15, and they've upped their cash position. I just think that's a good bet if you're betting on the cannabis market. I know that their cost per to grow is very expensive, but when you're making, if they end up doing 50% of their sales in edibles and beverages, then and they lower their costs for growing, I mean, they got to go through some growing pains and not spend as much money. But what's going to happen is they're going to get to be profitable. So I like what they're doing with the company, and Canopy-Growth, I think they got huge potential just using that cash, and they're not going to have the problems that the other companies that got sub $100 million in cash going. So I like that. I mean, I think they're not worth $21, to be honest. I think they're worth, $8 maybe, $5, $6, $7. And I also, but in this market, it's getting hot, and people are inside and they're going to be spending more money on cannabis. I do think there's high potential for this stock to go up to $30 Canadian, maybe even 35. We'll see, but it'll be based on sin stocks. So I think once it goes to 35, 40, that's when you want to close out of your position. And it may only hit like $26, $28, and then it's going to come back down. But I do think there's definitely upside on CANOPY-GROWTH. I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. It could go up, could go down, but it seems to be on the uptrend. It went to about 13.35, and now it's up to 21.35. So, I think it has definitely potential to get back up $25, and that would be a close to 20% gain. And then you take your money and run, or get up to $30 or more. We'll see. I mean, you just when you hold a position longer, especially in the cannabis market, and you're in the green, you got to understand that that money can just be eliminated from your gains so fast before you can even see it. So you got to just be ready to just take the money and run. I mean, if you looked on Wednesday, it was okay. Yeah, today, right? So if you would have bought it at the beginning of the day, it went to $20, right? And then it's coming up, and then it hit 22.85, 22.95. So you made $3 if you would have got it in the beginning of the day. Close about $250, right? So that's about 10%. I mean, a lot of day traders love to make 10%. I mean, that's a good amount of money. Even if you made 5%, 5% is pretty good for a day, right? If you have $10,000 and you end up getting 5% each day, that's going to be $500, right? But when you have $10,000 and then you're down, say like 5%, you're going to be down $500. Now, if you're down 10%, you're going to be down $1,000. So when you're playing with big money, you have to be ready to just accept the loss, cut it out at like 1%, 2%, right? So say you're at down 1% and you have your $10,000, you just accept the $100 loss, or the $150 or the $200 loss. But then when you're up, then you're like, okay, I'm going to take profit and roll on and get out of the position after 5%, and you get your $500. I mean, you got to be disciplined in the market. So that's what I think. And I think CGC does have a future, but it's going to go up and it's going to go down. I got the calls till end of April, because I think in April with 420 should be pretty boom-tastic. So I could see it potentially go $35, $40. Maybe it would have hit $42, which would be 420 kind of. So anyways, if you guys got any questions or anything like that, just let me know, or I'm going to get going. So GGI. All right, I'm going to get going. Anyways, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening, and keep compounding your info. Listen to my lingo, and shaka, peace. Audi 45.